a shit. I don't want to hear it. Asia, Cameron, or Cheryl Swift. Nobody knew that. Nobody knew they wore 22. Stop that. The fact that Clark and Wilson were on the same 2025 WNBA All-Star team caught the attention, if only because there was some question about a shared number and how it would be handled. Ultimately, it didn't matter because Clark was out, of course, with the groin injury.
Something explosive has just leaked out of the Team USA training camp. And if these reports are even half true, Team USA may have just made one of the biggest public relations mistakes in modern women's basketball. According to multiple insiders, the organization is now privately regretting a decision that sent shockwaves across the sports world, forcing Caitlin Clark, the most influential, most marketable, and most culturally powerful athlete in women's basketball, to give up her legendary number 22. Not suggested, not negotiated, forced. And the fallout is already spiraling far beyond their control. When the roster sheet for the December Team USA training camp was released, fans weren't expecting drama. They were excited. After the brutal Olympic snub, people were finally ready to see Caitlin Clark get her moment, to see her wear the red, white, and blue, and step into what many believe is her destiny, the future face of USA basketball. But the excitement flipped into full-scale outrage within seconds. Fans zoomed in on the official roster and immediately spotted something that made zero sense. Next to Caitlin Clark's name was a jersey number, but not her jersey number. Instead of the legendary 22, the number she built an entire global identity around, Team USA, slapped 17 next to her name. And the internet exploded. Understand the shock. You have to understand what 22 really means. It's not just a number on a jersey, it's Caitlin Clark's signature. Her legacy, her brand, her global trademark. It's the number she wore during her historic run at Iowa. The number she wore when she shattered Pete Maravich's all-time scoring record. The number she wore as she carried Iowa to back-to-back national championship games. And the same number she proudly wears with the Indiana Fever as she sells out arenas across the country. 22 is instantly recognizable. A symbol, a business, a movement. And Team USA tossed it aside like it meant nothing. Here's what pushed fans over the edge. No one else at training camp is wearing 22. It's not taken by a veteran. It's not reserved due to seniority. It's not blocked by any technical or uniform rule. The number is wide open. And Team USA still refused to give it to the one athlete who made it iconic, Aya Wilson. The only major Team USA superstar known for wearing 22 isn't even at this training camp. So this isn't a conflict issue. It's not a rules issue. It's not a logistics issue. The number is sitting there untouched, wide open, completely available. And yet, Team USA still forced Caitlin Clark into 17. Fans. This doesn't look like a simple oversight. It looks deliberate. And that's exactly where the optics collapse. Remember, this is the same Team USA that left Caitlin off the Olympic roster earlier this year. A move that sparked global backlash and made people openly question whether USA basketball truly understood the cultural shift happening right in front of them. Their excuse at the time? Experience, continuity, and chemistry. Nobody believed it then, and after this latest controversy, they definitely don't believe it now. Because if Team USA genuinely wanted to rebuild trust, if they wanted to repair their public image, if they wanted to show they understood Caitlin Clark's impact, the simplest, most obvious gesture would have been to let her keep the iconic 22. Instead, they triggered another firestorm. And sponsors noticed instantly. This is the part people rarely discuss, but it's massive. Brands like Nike, State Farm, and Gatorade have invested millions into building Caitlin Clark's identity around number 22. The commercials, the billboards, the merch, the endorsements, every piece of marketing is tied to that number. You can't just strip it away without consequences. Forcing her into number 17 doesn't just confuse fans. It disrupts an entire marketing ecosystem. Parents buy their daughters' 22 jerseys. Young hoopers write 22 on their shoes before games. Fans around the world associate Caitlin Clark with 22 instantly, and Team USA tossed all of that aside. That connection fans have with 22 is emotional. And emotional branding is the most valuable branding in sports. So when Team USA strips that away, even temporarily, they aren't just affecting Caitlin. They're affecting fans, sponsors, businesses, and millions of dollars in future merchandise revenue. And yes, the merch matters. Team USA had a golden, once-in-a-generation opportunity to release Caitlin Clark Team USA number 22 jerseys. Those jerseys would have shattered every sales record in the history of women's basketball. But a number 17 Clark jersey, that's not iconic, that's not historic, that's not something fans rush to buy. It's confusing. Fans don't want Clark 17. They want her number, her identity, her brand. Team USA fumbled a massive financial win without even realizing it. But here's the truth. The biggest issue isn't money. It's the message. Fans see this as Team USA trying to humble her, minimize her, or remind her that she's not bigger than the program. But the reality is simple. Whether the organization wants to accept it or not, Caitlin Clark is bigger than the program right now. She's bigger than the WNBA. She's bigger than the NCAA. She is a cultural force who has transcended the sport entirely. She brought millions of new fans into women's basketball, people who had never watched a game before. So when you disrespect the person who brought that growth, you also disrespect the audience that came with her. And here's the twist. Insiders say Team USA never expected this level of backlash. They thought the number change would go unnoticed, or at most be a small debate. Instead, their social pages are flooded. Every roster post is getting ratioed. Every comment section is filled with fans calling out the organization. Now, behind closed doors, people inside the program are quietly admitting they underestimated the situation. They didn't think a number would become the story, but it did, because they touched something sacred. They touched the identity millions of fans are emotionally bonded to. And now they're dealing with the fallout as this controversy unfolds. One thing is becoming painfully clear. Team USA didn't just underestimate Caitlin Clark's popularity. They completely misread the scale of the movement she represents. This isn't 1998, when jersey numbers didn't matter. This isn't even 2016, when branding was important but not central. This is 2025. Caitlin Clark is the face of the sport. She is the reason arenas are selling out. She is the reason TV ratings are doubling. She is the reason merchandise is flying off shelves. And Team USA still treated her number like it was meaningless. Arenas that once sat half empty are now nearly impossible to enter without paying hundreds on the resale market. When Caitlin Clark walks into a gym, it feels like a national event. When she posts on social media, the internet freezes. When she speaks, the basketball world listens. And when Team USA disrespects her, even unintentionally, fans erupt. What makes this controversy even more embarrassing is how completely avoidable it was. Nobody forced Team USA's hand. There was no rule demanding Clark wear a different number. No veteran blocked her. No prior commitment interfered. Number 22 was sitting there, untouched and used, wide open. And yet they consciously assigned her 17, a number with no history, no identity, no connection. A number that feels like an assignment, not an honor. And that's where the tone deafness becomes undeniable. Inside the locker room, the dynamics are complicated. Most players respect her rise, but ego, jealousy, and insecurity exist at the highest levels of sports. Some veterans privately feel overshadowed by the attention she gets. Some resent that every camera, every microphone, every question gravitates toward her. Some chafe at the idea that a rookie, no matter how talented, has become the face of the sport while they spent years working in relative obscurity. When Team USA makes a decision like this, it doesn't just look bureaucratic. It looks political. It looks like protecting egos, like quiet resistance, like an intentional refusal to elevate Caitlin to the level fans already know she deserves. But here's the truth. Resisting her doesn't stop anything. It only makes her bigger. Every controversy, every snub, every questionable decision strengthens the movement behind her. Fans get louder. Narratives grow stronger. Media attention multiplies. Caitlin becomes even more central to the identity of women's basketball. And that's exactly what's happening now. Team USA tried to make the number change a small detail. Instead, they turned it into a national conversation. Sports shows are covering it. Social media is buzzing. Fans are picking sides. Journalists are digging deeper into why Team USA keeps mishandling the relationship with the star they should be protecting most. The bigger problem? What happens next? At the December camp, cameras will roll. Reporters will ask pointed questions. Players will face pressure. Caitlin herself will inevitably get asked if she's okay with the number switched, as she's media-trained, diplomatic, and smart. She won't lash out. She'll say what she always does. She's grateful, excited, and focused on the team. But fans read between the lines. They always do. Media will scrutinize every expression, every tone, every gesture. And the story will grow to no matter what Team USA does now. They cannot erase the fact that they mishandled something simple. The irony is massive. Team USA could have won here. Imagine the headlines if she kept 22. The celebration from fans, the record-breaking jersey sales, the goodwill. Imagine the message: we recognize the future. We embrace the moment. We support the star elevating the sport. Instead, they sent the exact opposite message. We follow rules, not common sense. We value bureaucracy over branding. We don't care about identity, momentum, or connection. Now, behind the scenes, they're scrambling to manage the firestorm they created themselves. The truth is simple. Caitlin Clark isn't just a player. She's a movement. She's the biggest asset USA basketball has had in decades. Forcing her into 17 wasn't just a bad decision. It was a symbol of how disconnected the old system still is from the new era of women's basketball. And the regret? It's real. Team USA thought fans would shrug. Instead, they roared. They thought the story would fade. Instead, it exploded. They thought the number didn't matter. Instead, they learned the most important lesson of this era. With Caitlin Clark, everything matters. Because when you're dealing with the biggest star the sport has ever seen, even the smallest detail can shake the entire world of women's basketball.